boys and girls. Today we are going to be talking about equal groups problems, but we are going to really be focusing on the unknown being the number of groups, right? So our mystery is going to be how many groups are there? And we're going to talk about those questions. We're going to use the organizer, but we're going to be drawing it. So for number one, let's go ahead. Draw that. Remember that our total is at the bottom. The number in each group is here, and our number of groups is at the top. All right, here we go. This is kind of a long problem. So I want you to really visualize it in your heads, and I want you to just think about it. When the kids in the after-school club heard how much fun Natalia and Lori had, they asked their teacher if they could all make bead bracelets and necklaces. So the next day, the teacher brought in a bag of colored beads, along with some string for the kids. Darius and his friend DJ used 24 beads to make rainbow bracelets. They put 6 beads on each bracelet. How many bracelets did they make? So let's think about that. There were 24 beads that the boys used in all, and they put 6 beads on each bracelet, right? So we know those parts, and we need to find out how many bracelets they made, or how many groups of 6 there are in 24. So we know that in total there were 24 beads, right? We have to put a label with our hole, and we know that there were 6 beads each, right? 6 beads for each bracelet. What we are missing now is the number of groups. Now, last week, boys and girls, we talked about the M and the D, the multiply and the divide. And I told you that the only time we multiply is when we're looking for the total. And in this case, I've already got 24 beads. Now, there's something really special about this story, and I don't think I've explained it to you all as of yet, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about labels. A label is the word that comes directly after the number, and it tells us or identifies what the number's talking about. For example, this 24 has a label. It's talking about beads. This 6 has a label, and it's talking about beads. Now, interestingly enough, boys and girls, in addition and subtraction, all of the labels in the story that are relevant for solving are the same. In that case, if the labels are the same, we would add or subtract. I haven't really brought the add and the subtract into it at this point. We've just really been focusing on the multiply and divide, and we know that when we have the total, we're multiplying. Now, here's another little trick that I can teach you thinking about labels. When the 2 labels in the story match, but the question is asking for something different, a different label, it is what we call an automatic D1. Automatically divides. So I've got 24 beads in all. There are 6 beads on each bracelet, and I want to know how many what? Bracelets. So the labels in the story are identical, and I would be adding or subtracting if the question was asking about beads. But because it's asking about bracelets, it's an automatic divide. And that is one way that will help you know where to put your information on your organizer. The other thing to think about in the story, if you're confused about where to put that 24 beads, is think about it this way. If I had 24 beads that I used in all on the bracelets, and there are 6 beads on each bracelet, and I can't even ask a question about the bracelets because, or I can say how many bracelets there are, but I can't use the information to the story to justify the bracelets. It would really be about, since I'm thinking about the beads, usually the question is about the beads. But in this case, I already have 6 beads on each bracelet. So I can't say if I'm gonna have more or less of anything on these bracelets. That's a little confusing. But it is sufficient enough for now for us to talk about how when the labels are the same in the problem and the question wants a different answer, it is a D1. So let's go through and talk about what that division sentence looks like. So in a division sentence, I'm going to write my whole first and my division sign, which is kind of like a subtraction with 2 dots on top, but I know you guys in 4th grade know that. And then I'm dividing by 6. So essentially, I'm counting by 6 and to see how many 6s there are in 24. Are you ready? 6, 12, 18, 24. And so since I have 4 6s in 24, I'm gonna put 4, and the question's asking for bracelets. So my label on my answer is also going to be bracelets. And look at that. You have just solved a division problem. Way to go. All right, I'm going to erase. And let's look at story 2. Go ahead and make my organizers. I'm gonna try to be quick as opposed to being so neat. So T, G, and number in each. Here we go. Oh, and let's look at the M and the D, okay? Because we're gonna keep talking about that. All right. Sarah and Mai carefully counted out 35 beads. They got 7 beads in each of the colors that they wanted to use for their bracelets. How many different colors did they choose? So I'm gonna write down some information. The first piece of information in our story said that the girls counted out 35 beads. So I want you in your head to picture the girls, and they're counting out 35 is quite a lot of beads. And when you look at the beads, I want you to notice that there's some in the same color. So they've got 7 beads in the same color. And what I want to know is how many different colors did they use? So in this case, I'm looking for how many what? Colors. I've got beads, and I'm looking for colors. No, my labels don't match, but because my labels in my story are the same and the question is asking for a different answer, it is an automatic D1. Now we have to think about these beads. Where am I going to put the 7 beads for each bracelet? So in the story, you can kind of hear how it says each bracelet, and that's kind of a clue because this part right here is the each. So there are 7 beads each bracelet, which means that the girls use 35 beads in all, and I'm looking for how many groups or how many bracelets they made, which makes it a D1. So I'm going to start with the whole, which is 35, and I'm going to divide it by 7, and I want to see how many times can I count by 7 until I get to 35. Here we go. 7, 14, 21, 28, and 35. Oh, looky there. 5 times. So my answer will be 5 colors. Right? 5 colors. How are you feeling about these division problems? Are they making a little sense? I'm hoping that as we go, that continued talk about how the labels in the story match and the question wants to know something different is helpful, and it will get a little easier as we go. Here is our third story. Let's go ahead, draw these. I want the total, groups, and number in each. And multiply and divide. Here we go. Esteban, Luke, and Jalen decided to put 9 beads on each of the bracelets that they wanted, that they made. So they made some bracelets, and they put 9 beads on each bracelet. And they used 27 beads. And the question says, how many bracelets? So I'm looking for how many bracelets did they make? So I've got beads, and I'm looking for bracelets. No, my labels don't match, which means it's multiply or divide. But because my labels in the story are the same, and my question wants a different answer, I'm going to divide. So now I just have to decide where to put these. If there are 9 beads on each of the bracelet, and they use 27 beads for all of the bracelets, the story kind of tells us where to put it, right? If I heard that on each bracelet, so I'm gonna put 9 on each, and I'm not gonna go ahead and write bracelet again because it's a little bit long, which means in total there were 27 beads, and I'm looking for how many groups there are. So it's an automatic D1. Let's do our 27 divided by 9, and we're gonna count by 9s until we get to 27. Are you ready? 9, 18, 27. Looky there. I only counted 3 times, which means there were 3 bracelets. Excellent job, boys and girls. Let's do one more together, and then that will be your lesson for today. It'd be great if you would put something into Seesaw about what you learned, or you can even take a snapshot of your work and send me that too. I've loved seeing you guys in Seesaw. It's kind of fun. Okay, here we go, last one. Oh, I almost forgot this. How could I forget, right? T for total, G for groups, number of each. Okay, here we go. And our multiply and our divide. The kids had so much fun making bead bracelets that the after-school club teacher got some supplies for the kids to make friendship bracelets. She cut 21 feet of 21 feet of embroidery thread into pieces that were 3 feet long. So let me write this down. 21 feet of thread, and each piece was 3 feet long. So I've got feet and feet already. Let's look at what the question wants to know. I want to know how many pieces did she cut? So I've got feet, and I'm looking for pieces. Automatic D1 because my labels in my story match and my question wants a different answer. So again, the story kind of tells us where to put this. I know each piece was 3 feet, and this bar up here says the number of each. So I'm going to put 3 feet each piece, and the total was 21 feet. And I'm looking for how many pieces or groups there were. So I'm going to do 21 divided by 3, and we are going to count by 3s to 21, boys and girls. Here we go. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 spacemen in their ships are waiting for 21. Looky there. I counted 7 times, which means there were 7 pieces. Now, why was my label on this pieces and not feet? If you'll remember, in my story was about the feet, and it was about the teacher cutting that thread into lengths, and so we were looking for how many pieces she made. Boys and girls, I am so proud of you on this day. I'm sure you started today and went, what? This is too hard. But I hope that now you feel really good and excited. Tomorrow's assignment will be completing some work, and I don't want you to worry at all because we're going to do side A together as always, and hopefully I don't figure out how to do that side and then not let you work through it. But at any rate, if that happens again tomorrow, because I know on some of your work the side A was already completed and I apologize, just take the eraser and simply erase it. I will try very hard to not allow that to happen. Again, let me know if you run into any problems, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.